Welcome to Drunk Bible Study. This show's mission is to read every single word of the greatest story ever told. A warning to our listeners, the hosts of this show are sinners, but they're doing their best. There will be drinking and there may be some swears. They did say they'd try to keep it clean, but I wouldn't put my money on it.
I'm Emily, and this is Drunk Bible Study, and we are here. We have finally reached the end of the Old Testament. And also Jason Dedeker
yay
here.
To us.
Good job.
Yay
Good job, everyone.
To us.
They've taught me a thing or two.
You know what? No one's congratulated us enough. We haven't patted ourselves on the back quite enough.
Right. Yeah.
Congratulations yet again to us, yet again to all of you listening, yet again to all of you who have accompanied us on this treacherous, sometimes delightful, sometimes disgusting, sometimes comedic journey. We made it.
Yeah, it has been disgusting at times, hasn't it? I don't know. I've been disgusted by parts of the Bible, for sure. I am wondering, I don't know. I've heard so many people say the New Testament changes everything. And I'm like, does it? Are you sure? So I'm very interested to hear and to read and to see what it is that they're talking about. Because how different can it be, really?
Yeah, so today it's our kind of old ET recap episode. We're going to review some of the major plot points, the major story beats. We're going to review some of our jokes because I kept track of some of the memes. People in our Discord have kept track of some of the memes. And then Rockanon, our faithful parishioner, did create a delightful quiz for our consumption. So we're going to do that today as well. But before we get to all of that, I was wondering, I wanted to hear from all three of us, how has reading the Old Testament changed you?
Wow.
How are you a different person now?
Wow.
I mean, I didn't become Christian, which I think some people were hoping maybe that I would by reading the Bible.
Well, you haven't reached the New Testament yet. You haven't met Christ yet.
Got it. Okay.
That's true. There is no Christian to become yet. That's
true. Okay. Well, I haven't become a person of faith in any way.
Right.
However, yeah, that's a great question. I think I'm just shocked at how many things there are in like the cultural zeitgeist that now I understand the reference to.
Yeah.
And that's really nice that it's not just all Shakespeare quotes or whatever. There's a lot from the Bible that is out there and that people reference, and still a lot that y'all know. You're like, oh yeah, that's a thing that I remember from whatever, and I don't recall that, but those little nuggets of information or the stories or knowing where the Ark of the Covenant came from. And when I watch Indiana Jones again, I'm going to know all about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I bet you,
my
Emily,
life has changed.
If you go back and rewatch Indiana Jones, there will probably be a lot of references that you will get anew.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Only the penitent man shall pass. No, but but a bunch of other ones. Yeah. I'm excited to watch the whole thing again, for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Jace? How has it changed you?
Oh boy. I remember talking about this earlier on the show, and I feel like this is still true. But basically, I was surprised at how much more I felt like I guess kind of understood like the actual Jewish roots of Christianity more, because that's something that for me growing up was very much just kind of, you sweep that under the rug. It's like, yeah, whatever. None of that's really important because Jesus. So for me, just over and over again, kind of getting this realization of like, oh, this is all the history. This is all kind of the culture leading up to Jesus, who was himself a Jew, right? That whole thing, I'm like, I am interested to see how reading the New Testament changes based on having more of that knowledge, of having read several parts of this twice, and also having God, of course, reiterate 10 million times certain things that he did. And so I think that'll be interesting to see if there are some references and stuff from the New Testament that were always kind of this like, oh, whatever, that's a Jesus thing, that we're actually referencing stuff from the Hebrew Bible, from those sorts of writings. That to me is the biggest change. And then also, of course, getting to actually know the real stories. So when people like reference, Job in a movie or something, I can go, I don't know if that's exactly what it was saying, or I don't know about that, and actually know what I'm talking about, sort of, kind of.
Yeah, I'll jump on that bandwagon. Weirdly, way more respect for Jews. I mean, not that I disrespected Jews before, but like I think way more respect, having more of that context, more of that history, more respect for like, oh, like how cool that you have a faith that kind of ties you into this history now and this ongoing story, right? As opposed to my Christian upbringing where it's like, yeah, the Jews, they produced Jesus, but that's really all they're about. Like they're sort of tangential really to
Right.
the whole story. That certainly changed my perspective on it.
Can I ask both of you, as people who grew up Christian, has your like views changed now that you've read this whole thing? Because it clearly you were sort of taught as young people to believe this thing without maybe really thinking critically about it. And now, you went through an ex-evangelical moment as well. And now you're back reading this whole thing again and really being able to see it through non-rose-colored glasses, just normal colored glasses. So what are your takeaways there?
Yes, I'm thoroughly unimpressed.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No.
That's quite a thing to say.
I was talking to Jace about this, I think after we finished recording last week. There is something about when you've had all these stories curated for you and the good parts picked out for you. And I was trying to be like,
out of context too, I'm assuming.
Yeah. It's like you've only ever watched the movie versions of books, but then when you read the book, it's worse. And Jace, you did one better where you're like, no, it's kind of like you've only ever watched the trailers for movies based on books. And then told people, oh yeah, I know this book or I've read
and we're
this
told
book.
that those movies were really good, even if they actually weren't.
Right. Yeah.
No, you know what? No, I think I've got it. It's like if there's a movie based on a book, so say like the Lord of the Rings movies, but your only experience is not even watching the movies, it's watching YouTube videos of people reviewing and criticizing the movies based on the books.
Wow.
It's like that, right? Where it's like you've not only gotten pieces, but you've also gotten it all coded in other people's opinions and views and beliefs over top of it. Yeah.
So the weird thing is it doesn't add up to the sum of its parts, at least the parts that have been presented to me, that now actually reading it all together, unimpressed.
Well, that's why
like left me feeling a little flat.
Totally. I hear you. And that I think is also why I'm such on this train of Revelation better just like blow me out of the effing water, because that really is the end. And I will say, I want to get into things that surprised us about this, because I have a lot of those. I have a lot of things that really kind of shocked me just when I look back over the last 5 years of reading this and kind of the things that I did not expect. But yeah,
let's hear it. Let's hear your list.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I'm going to start drinking because I made this beautiful drink and I haven't said anything about it yet.
Let's talk about our drinks.
We're not, we'll talk about our drinks.
Okay.
We're sort
Let's do
of
that real
out
quick.
of, we're not in our element here because we're not doing an actual reading today. So it's a little bit higgledy-piggledy. But Jace, why don't you start and tell us what you're drinking?
Right. So Dedeker and I are drinking some whiskey gingers, but with some kind of fancy ginger beer.
Bedford ginger beer. Really, really gingery.
Which is local here to Washington. Somewhere, I guess.
Is that in that
where
little
it's from. You're the one that got
glass bottle or no?
That was like a normal size glass bottle.
It's the name of that place, Jace, that I tried to say and then couldn't say.
Oh, right.
There are many of those here in Washington.
Cleellum?
No, it wasn't Cleellum.
Or Wenatchee?
It wasn't Puyallup. It wasn't Enumclaw. It wasn't all the ones that I've learned.
Yeah, Washington is, we have this fun...
Washington's a weird place. It's a fun place.
Well, we have this fun way of knowing how long someone's lived here and whether they're truly a resident is whether you know what weird pronunciation has become standard for all of these Native American names for places.
Well, yeah,
right?
What bastardized pronunciation do we have for the
Right.
Native American city names?
Right. And so you'll either get people who try to say them too accurately and you're like, you're not from around here. Or they'll say it in somehow an even worse bastardized way.
So which version did Dedeker just do there?
She was close, but it was just off a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like knowing, when is an E or an or an like it's those little subtle things. There used to be this series of ads in Washington for one of the local banks that was their whole joke for their ad campaign for a few years was these like out of town bankers trying to pretend they're local but saying all the like city names wrong. And it's like, they're from out of town. Don't trust them. Stick with Washington Mutual or whoever it was.
There you go.
That bank doesn't exist anymore.
No, of course not. Most banks are leaving, sadly.
I think they were bought by Bank of America, actually.
Of course.
Anyhow, that is what we are drinking. What beautiful thing are you drinking?
I had some mint, some lovely fresh mint, and so I decided to make myself a mojito. But again, this is with some wild blueberries in here.
Wow.
And wild blueberries tend to be a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, they're slightly more tart too. And it's excellent.
Now, hold on. Did you go acquire these blueberries from the wild?
No, I acquired them from Trader Joe's.
Okay.
But
okay, so they're still blueberries from captivity.
Definitely they're captive blueberries, but they call themselves wild. So I'm also going to call them wild. But it's really tasty.
Okay.
It's still freaking like 60 degrees outside and completely cloudy and just ridiculous. I don't know. We've swapped in terms of our weather. So here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful and sunny and nice up here in Seattle.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So what are the things that surprised you?
Yeah. I think the big one for me is I was just surprised at the amount of times that God, for no apparent reason other than just I'm going to show the power that I have and my might and my ability to like wreak havoc on all the people. Like Josh, my partner we were talking about the Ark of the Covenant, and he was like, remember that time when that guy when the ark was like falling and then the guy was trying to grab the ark just to prop it back up and God just killed him? And I was like, yeah, I do remember that. That was crazy. That was ridiculous. Like that guy was just trying to help. Or, Sarah, is it Sarah, the Lot's wife? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't Sarah. I don't know. Maybe she was.
I don't think Lot's wife even got a name.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
She was a woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lot's wife even looking behind her and getting killed, like stuff like that.
Just that like you looked back once and then poof.
Exactly. Doing something that God thinks in the moment is not okay. But he really picks and chooses with people because his special boys don't get it. Like nothing happens to them. They're totally fine.
Right.
Even Aaron gets a slap on the wrist,
That's
all
true.
of this stuff. And he did like the worst thing you can possibly do.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So I don't know. I was just shocked by that all over the place because if for a religion, and maybe I'm getting this wrong, but that sort of says how justice oriented it is, to see the lack of like what I would call justice and ethical, nature, all of that. It's not in there. In my opinion.
But I guess,
Maybe
again,
sometimes.
like my Christian upbringing interpretation is always finding that roundabout way of explaining, well, God did deliver punishment of some kind. Like with David, it was, we're going to punish him by having his firstborn child through Bathsheba die. Or with Aaron, like his sons also died.
Yeah.
It's like, they still got punished, but then we also have to rope it back to like, well, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, and God's going to work it all out, and there is justice, but it doesn't always make sense to us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we're going to still kind of try to make it make sense in trying to like also enact that on other people in the name of God's will. It's messy.
It is messy.
And not in a bless this mess kind of way. It's just messy.
Yeah.
Right. Not in an endearing kind of messy.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What surprised you too?
Well, I think to go back to kind of what Dedeker said about more respect for the history of Judaism, I guess, or more understanding of it. I guess it's like, on the one hand, yes, it's like that cool, oh, there's this whole history behind this thing. But like, when I think about other older like mythologies and, writings from this time, not that I've read a ton of those, but, when you look back at, Greek and Roman mythology or things like that, there's like a bunch of super messed up stories. The gods are super arbitrary. They seem to be sometimes in some stories a good guy, in other stories a bad guy, terrible treatment of women for the most part, like a lot of similar stuff to what we get in this. But I feel like the difference is when those other stories are presented to us, it's never with the like reverence of, but this book is so wholesome and so this will make you a better person and this is how you should live your life. And I just keep coming back to that idea of like, if someone wasn't trying to put that on it, I think it would at least, I don't know, it wouldn't feel like such this like disappointment or like, gosh, this is not what it was touted to be. If it was just like, hey, this is writings from people several thousand years ago, you'd be like, oh, interesting.
It's a really interesting point.
So that's what people wrote about. Oh, that's what people thought. Interesting. But the fact that it's tied to like a modern day thing that people put all this value on is what makes it complicated. And I think an interesting irony is that, at least from my experience with the Jews in my life, a lot of them, even ones who do take Judaism very seriously, don't quite have that same like, oh, we're just going to wash away all the messed up shit in this book and just say, oh, it's all good. I mean, I'm sure there are still people that do that, but it's like the Christians, like how I grew up, are the ones that I feel like do that the most, of like lifting up this whole book as if it's just by definition good.
It's the gospel.
Yeah, well, we haven't gotten to the gospel yet.
Okay,
but
I just know those words, so I'm saying them.
But the aphorism, it's the gospel.
Sense,
yeah. That does make it more of a bummer to read. It creates a much bigger shoe to fill, as it were, for these stories, because it is different from, when I was growing up, specifically learning about Greek gods and goddesses, where if you think about it, it's just as maybe odd, where I'm like, oh, well, we're really going to hyper-focus on this different culture that I am not from, that is from antiquity, and learn all about their whole pantheon and what they believed. But it's taught through this lens of, a lot of the Greek gods have these weird flaws and they're very human, right? They have their jealousies and their mistakes that they make and fly into rages and do things that are actually kind of silly and funny to retell. And it is different if you're being like, and this is a lesson for you. Like, we need to take this super, super seriously. And also we need to look at these gods and goddesses as completely perfect and not flawed. And so we can't find what they do is kind of funny or illogical or, oh, isn't that so like human nature? It has to be inherently divine. And the weird discomfort of having to swallow that.
Yeah,
do all these like mental gymnastics to justify stuff that's like, maybe it doesn't need to be justified.
Well, and like it does say, doesn't it, in the Bible? I didn't make this up, that like it's a jealous God. Like, he is a jealous God.
It says he is a jealous God.
Yes. And I think, at least in our culture, jealousy, well, on our other podcast, we talk about how it's a normal thing. However, I think it's still seen as something that ideally you're not going to want to be doing or have. And this quote unquote perfect being doing this thing that's maybe not ideal is interesting. I don't know. There's so many of those things. And just, he's clearly not perfect. He's super, super moody and shitty at times and mercurial and just doing things that aren't aren't things that you and I and our lovely listeners would think are okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny. So in preparation for this episode, like before we started recording, I was like trying to find some kind of compilation of the main story beats.
Yeah, I found
from the
something,
Old Testament.
Yeah, did you find something?
Well, but I was like, I want a children's Bible.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want a children's Bible. And it's so funny because I found the closest thing I could find was, ironically, it's from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints website. where I'm just looking through this list of stories, and it is kind of the same stories you would find in a children's Bible, right? Like very curated. Like we start with Adam and Eve, we go to Noah, Abraham and Sarah, Jacob and Esau, the Passover, Moses, all those things, right? And looking through this list, it's suddenly way more appealing to me.
Well, those are the appealing stories.
Yes. I'm like, okay, I don't think it's justified, but I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, right? Like I want this kid's version of the Old Testament. I want it's action and we go back to back and it's just action story to action story and plot to plot to plot without these weird
interludes of nothingness.
Interludes in the in-between. Now, what is also funny in my attempt to find a good website for this, I found this old blog post from a old blog called A Bridge to God's Word. However, the URL makes it look like it's someone's name, like Bridget O'Godsword is the name that I've made in my head. And I think if you need a D&D character name, Bridget O'Godsword is going to be the one. Feel free to take that one.
I love that.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay.
So can we talk a little bit, in our recap about some of our favorite moments and
like from the Bible or from the three of us?
Well, maybe both, but I am curious, like, what was your favorite thing to read of the stories that we did? And also, I mean, to me, I remember my grandmother reading me some of these stories when I was a kid, like Noah, for instance. That was one that I remember us reading.
Sure. Classic.
The Noah story.
I remember back at the beginning of this show, that was the only story you could think of that you knew of from the Bible.
I mean, because that was the one that she read me. So, I totally 100%. But yeah, for me, the one that really, really sticks out, just because it was the most frickin' bonkers thing ever, was the book of Ezekiel.
Oh, just the aliens and the visions and...
Well, yeah, it's funny because I looked up this thing and it was like, Ezekiel wasn't the first man to see Yahweh's glory cloud. That's the first recap of Ezekiel. And so, yeah, they talk about that, but like Ezekiel gets this up close interior view and then shares it with us. But yeah, that fact that he saw this thing off in the distance and it had 4 heads and I forgot what the heads were. Let's see. A bull, a lion, an eagle, and a man.
Yeah.
So the cherubim and bronze legs and hooved feet. And then there was also like glowing metal in the midst of the fire. Just, this is some crazy shit. So yeah, it was pretty cool. I remember that because we were really excited about that. And there were 6 different visions. It was awesome.
I do feel like that book came after some dry material.
Yeah.
And I remember it being quite refreshing.
Right. It really was.
Ashdog Bucket in the chat is pointing out Ezekiel was also the one who had to cook with poo.
Yeah.
Where
he got all the fun stuff to do.
He did his object lessons.
Yeah, he had the object lessons where he had to like lay on his side for a certain period of time. And then he built a little tiny Warhammer city just for the heck of it.
He was a weird dude.
I forgot about his miniature
He had he also had the dirty underwear. It was like he had underwear they took off and like hid in the rock. And then it was like... Yeah. What does this mean?
That was a weird, freaking book, but you know what? It really, really stands out to me, at least. I enjoyed those visions. And I would say
Freddie's saying Jeremiah had the undies. That
Jeremiah.
wasn't Ezekiel.
Oh, okay.
My object lessons are getting confused.
Yeah.
All right, I think it was Jeremiah's object lessons were not as good. That's what it was. That's why I was like, I have underwear on. Now I'm taking them off.
Yeah.
Do you understand the meaning of this lesson?
I think the kind of the first part, basically up until David, that was sort of the bulk of the stuff that I think we know about as a culture, as an American Western culture, like really knows a lot of those stories. But getting beyond that, there's some random crap in there that nobody has ever read ever in their lives.
Yeah, I'd say through Solomon.
Okay, through Solomon.
Past David to Solomon. But like after Solomon, I don't know that I ever learned any of that. Really.
Yeah, me neither.
Because it's like you talked about Solomon being super wise, about David dancing like David danced.
Like Richard Gere dances.
Like Richard Gere dances, yeah. And right? Those other kind of main characters, like the prophets, I remember learning about them. I still, after reading this, like we just had, I can't tell them apart very well. I get them mixed up with each other.
Yeah.
Because most of them kind of just did the same thing of like yelling at everyone that you're doing it wrong and everyone ignores them. And then sometimes listens to them and it's like, oh shit. They listened. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I really think fondly back on our days of reading about Joseph.
That was a fun time.
And
back in Genesis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacob.
Exactly. I mean, maybe it's because of also watching Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat together.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of watching Jace's home movies of being in Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and that was so much fun.
Really amazing.
Yeah. I just remember that being a really fun time. And then leading into the story of Moses. And again, the story of Moses was always one of my favorites as a child. And again, that weird thing of like, oh, you read it and it's like, oh, that was like 2 chapters. That was like an episode, maybe 2 of that whole story. But it's still an interesting story. It's still a good story, with all the repetition of going to Pharaoh and things like that. So I guess there was maybe that someone in the chat earlier said that reading through the Bible has kind of destroyed any nostalgia. And I would agree with that. But I do think I still kind of had some of that nostalgia, like for the Joseph story and for the Moses story as well, that it was fun to dive back into those and rediscover those. But as an adult.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Okay, as far as the question of what was my favorite, I remembered enjoying Judges a lot more. And I never would have thought of that book as like, ooh, can't wait to read Judges. But I remember it was cool because it was so many short-ish stories about the various judges and the stuff that they did. So it felt like it had nice pace to it. And we even had a lady judge, which was fun.
Yeah.
The one lady judge.
Yeah, who was played by Judge Judy,
Judge Judy, of course.
Yeah.
Is that Deborah? It's Deborah, right?
Oh, yeah.
The one lady,
Her name is Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah.
Yeah.
That was one that surprised me for how interesting it was.
Now, in the chat, someone is pointing out that Jonah is like the only minor prophet that stands out. And I agree. I do think casting Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow as Jonah, and the fact that we did that before Johnny Depp was like majorly canceled.
Yeah.
It was like our last enjoyment of Johnny Depp. I think it was spot on.
Yeah. Wait, okay. So Jonah was the one with the whale that it was kind of Moby Dick adjacent. Got it. Okay.
Dick adjacent, yes.
Well, but the whale hunted him.
Cool.
Well, I guess that kind of happened.
I think the whale just swallowed him. I don't know if it hunted him.
I've put on to this story.
I think he just happened to be in the way. God put him in the whale's way.
But again, I mean, that was like a hot second of story, right? It was literally like 1 or 2 chapters. And then he spit him back out. And then there was a whole freaking book left.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, the whole book of Jonah was half of an episode.
Okay. Yeah, it was a quick time.
So on that episode, we did all of Obadiah and all of Jonah in one episode. So those are both teeny weeny little books.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it. It's basically just a story.
Yeah.
I also think fondly of our time in Joshua. I remember loving the intro music to Joshua and the fact that we cast Henry Cavill and he was just like a man who got stuff done.
Yeah. It's a nice time.
That was a lot of fun.
Right. I'm assuming it's mostly just because you got to imagine Henry Cavill the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
Well,
speaking of, we have our lovely listeners and parishioners created a very robust list of memes.
Oh, yes, quite.
In the Discord. I have my own list of memes that I've sort of halfway kept track of over the literal years that we've been recording this podcast. So I wonder if I might curate some memes for you. Of course, we've had some memes that have come back around. Like we have this one about the commemorative golden hand shields. We never forgot those that Solomon, it was Solomon was responsible for making those, right?
Yes.
If we ever had like a drunk Bible study theme park, like that would be a merch item.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we've only ever thought about this other meme, the Archipelago Sandwich Pub, which is going to be a direct competitor.
Yeah. I'm thinking big
to the Islands Burger Bar. But yes, you're thinking so much bigger. I love that.
I mean, we could have that be a thing that you get there. You know, it's not even getting a sweatshirt or something. you get the freaking shield. How cool is that?
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the
I
kids'
love that.
lunch boxes or something, the kids' meals.
That's good.
So yeah, we definitely made a lot of content for the Archipelago Sandwich Pub for sure. Like we wrote a jingle. The jingle was that God is still talking smack, so come on in and have a snack. I don't know if you remember that one.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's really good.
It was fun.
We made a
yeah.
lot of Archipelago Sandwich Pub menu items, like the sheepfold sandwich, which is going to be some kind of shawarma wrap. The Lady's Rage was a cocktail.
Sure, I could.
We also
figure that
did
out.
a bomb in a bowl, which was a pot roast with a buzz ball inside of
Oh
it.
God, that must have been when we were doing the buzz balls, which were, middling at best. But
They were buzz balls.
yeah, we were at Disneyland. It was fun.
Also, the Nut Garden.
Oh.
I don't know where did Nut Garden come from, like Song of Solomon or from a minor prophet or something?
I don't know.
Yeah. And we decided also that like all of the sandwich bread was going to be provided by the Continual Show Bread was going to be the name of
I love
the
that.
bakery that makes all of our sandwich bread.
I guess we have to make the bakery in order to make the showbread happen, but it's great.
Yes. Yeah. It has to be a subsidiary.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I see. That
Jace, you look like you're distressed.
that we would separately sell the show. I'm just trying to work out the logistics of all this,
Yeah,
Gotta make sure we have it all in place.
Going back, again, just a curated list of some of the memes from the past. I wrote down, at one point we decided that Jesus was a 2.
yeah. That was, I don't know. We haven't met him yet, so that's pure speculation, Dedeker. I don't know.
No, it was based on. It was one of the prophets was talking about.
Oh yeah, he was ready, but he wasn't.
The Messiah.
Yeah.
And talked to him about him being unattractive or not being good looking.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of nowadays people would say, oh, he was talking about Jesus, whereas at the time, and according to the Jews, it was probably talking about one of the various other people who were referred to as a Messiah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was one of the prophets, and I don't remember. Brady says it was Isaiah who described the coming Messiah as being really unattractive. And so we're just like, oh, that's not the Jesus we know.
Jesus was a 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Well, we are going to encounter many different versions of the story of Jesus with the 4 Gospels. And so we're going to have to play with different casting. And so it's going to be different if one time we go through the story and he is just rocking hot body, hot Christ summer. It's going to be different if we read him with someone who's not as conventionally attractive.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's fine.
Different imagery in your mind.
That's why I wanted Kate Blanchett as Bob Dylan as Jesus.
Right. Yeah, that's
I
a good
like
one.
that. Yeah.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
We came up with the sitcom Keeping Up with the Baals.
That's a great sitcom.
And I do believe someone in our Facebook group also came up with a great image because it's Christian Bale as Baal and Beyonce as Asherah.
Amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried is Jesus. Well, he's dead, but sure.
He's dead. Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you, Samantha, in the chat.
Now, I wrote down this one. Emily, apparently at one point you gave a log line for Revelations.
Oh, God.
Which was, quote, angry angel people flapping their wings at all of us.
Is that what happens?
I don't know.
Wait, you haven't read it?
It's been years since I've read it. Literally years.
Okay.
It sounds like there could be some of that. Some angry angel people flapping their wings at all of us.
I'm excited. I can't wait. I can't wait. Wait, can you all tell me what sheepfolds came from?
I think that was back in Joshua when we're
Okay.
first starting to divide up the land. After they'd come into Canaan, they whipped some Canaanite butt, and it was time to divvy up who gets which land. And I feel like there were a lot of references to sheepfolds, and is there going to be enough room for this clan's sheepfolds
Yeah, they
in
talked
this
about
parcel? I think it was something like that.
yeah, which people had their sheepfolds, you were just so amused by that.
It's I mean, I
term.
love it.
The folded sheepies.
All of a sudden they become Paper Mario, and get folded up.
Just fold right
I
up.
see.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I did want to bring something up that someone mentioned in the Discord that I either had forgotten about or never happened but should have happened, and that's the casting of all sheep being played by Ben Folds.
I forgot about that.
That's amazing.
Similar to how Will Arnett plays any kind of horse.
Yeah, amazing.
And who else did we? We had another person. Oh, any kind of inanimate object is Andy Serkis.
Oh yeah, and then it was Detective Pikachu. It was like Ryan Reynolds being Detective
as Detective Pikachu,
yeah.
as the donkey. Yes, that's what
Right.
it was.
This is funny because it's kind of showing like the age of the show as well.
Yes.
The fact that like Detective Pikachu was a thing and now it's like not as much of a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's true.
So we also had people pointing out pitching tent. The thing that always makes Emily laugh every single time.
It's great. I mean,
A pitching tent.
We had a lot of that back in Genesis.
yeah, there
a
was
lot
a
of tent
lot of
pitching,
tents being
for
pitched.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Of course, we got the classics of like "Don't look a dove in the eye."
Yeah, I still don't know what the
Right.
hell that came from, but it was amazing.
It was your own brain.
I know,
You
it
were
was
the
my
one who had
brain.
some sort of weird theory about how you can't look doves in the eye.
But like, where did that even start? I mean, I don't know. You just don't want to piss him off, you know?
On the bird theme, of course, any kind of raven. That
Yeah.
must have been from like Deuteronomy, Levitical law,
Yeah.
talking about what kind of birds you can or can't eat.
Mhm.
We got the garbage grapes. Do you remember when we did the Fig Newton challenge?
I remember
like, right
when
in the thick
Jace
of the
did
pandemic.
the Fig Newton challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did do it.
Yeah, how many did you get up to?
I forget what the challenge even was. Wasn't it like, can you eat 5 in like a
And
minute
then
or
like a
something
minute.
like
Yeah.
that?
I think it was just like how
Yeah.
many can you eat in a minute?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You did
I
pretty
think there
good.
was a number I was aiming for, and I did achieve it. And I might have been able to do more, but it was a close call.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe with
Sounds
practice.
tough. Sounds like a tough time.
Also see here, so this is from Rockanon in the Discord, and I had so many questions about this. So Rockanon wrote about, I've already referenced this Archipelago Sandwich Pub dish called the Ham on the Hog, which is going to be the ASP version of the Moon Over My Hammy.
Mhm.
And then they wrote, Emily has never eaten an egg, question mark.
Nope. And you can
never eaten an egg?
blame my mom for that. And it's kind of a badge of
Wow.
honor. Like I love that I haven't because I'm a vegan. But no, my mom
Right.
hates eggs. And so I learned from a young age to also hate eggs. And so I have never eaten an egg. I've eaten eggs
Wow.
in things. Yes, I mean,
Okay,
of course.
sure, like mixed into things.
But I've
like,
never
an egg
eaten
on its
an
own.
egg on its own. No way. Like they look horrifying to me and they don't smell good. Can I also just say that I learned recently that figs are not vegan because, yes, my mom
Because
is
of what,
clapping.
Hornets all up in them.
Yes, you know, Dedeker, you know
Yeah, I
about
know.
it. So do you
I
know
didn't think that was I didn't think that was any kind of fig. I thought that was only some figs.
I don't know, but apparently, yeah, they get up, a hornet or a wasp or something like gets up in the fig and then dies there, and then like or it like lays its eggs, and then it dies, and then the eggs populate the fig, and then they crawl out. Yes, it's horrifying, and then I'm never
That's
eating
horrible.
a fig again.
That's so horrible.
No, but by the time you eat the fig, it's like the wasp has been disintegrated.
I'm sure it has, but still, like
But how many creatures have died on your kale?
probably a lot.
Or have died to produce your kale? This is.
Right.
Didn't you watch Lion King? It's the circle of life.
No, I know,
Emily.
Dedeker. When I lived in Shanghai, I would get my kale and my groceries every single week, and I swear to God, like without fail, there was a fly in my kale every single time. So yes,
Gross.
yes, many
Gross.
things have died in the
Well,
kale.
I'm gonna steer us away from this because
All right.
I do love this. I am always gonna remember this. Rockanon was pointing out that when we did the quiz for Lamentations, that was when John Michael in the chat became Gandalf, where he
Oh.
wasn't there for the quiz until the last 2 questions.
Yes,
and kept being
and
like,
then
where is he? Where is
we
he? And then he was like
won.
Gandalf at the end of the two towers.
We won the
and that was how he
quiz.
became dubbed with the name John Dolph the Mic.
It's amazing.
A milestone.
Yeah, indeed.
Truly.
We should take a break before this quiz, shouldn't we?
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should.
Yes. We're going to take a quick break, and this is your last chance to go out and tell all your friends about this show so that they can join you.
It's not your last chance.
Well, it's your last chance to do it before the start of Hot Christ Summer.
Mm.
So go tell your friends, have them binge almost 5 years worth of this show. By the way, I was just looking this up, and our first episode came out July 9th on my birthday
2016?
in 2018,
Oh, God.
which is almost exactly 5 years ago. Like we're less than a month short of 5 years. So this has been a long time. So anyway, you could, one, tell them to binge all of that, which,
Good luck.
ambitious. Or you could just kind of catch them up on the stuff they need to know and then tell them to join us for Hot Christ Summer. And maybe they can slowly work their way back through the Old Testament as maybe we reference it or something like that. But we would love to just have more people involved for this. This has been
A labor of love.
such an amazing journey.
Truly, love.
Yeah.
Love is one word for it.
Love, yes.
Stubbornness,
yes,
perhaps.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yes. A labor of stubbornness.
We definitely are that.
A drunk Bible study story.
Yeah.
Anyway, and if you want to get all up in this action, you should join our Discord, which you can find at discord.drunkbiblestudy.com. You could also join our Facebook group, which is called Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship. We would love to have you there, sharing your jokes and your memes and things like that. And then, of course, joining our Patreon at patreon.com/drunkbiblestudy. As a thank you for helping support us there, we have early releases of episodes, personal toasts on the show, Emily's drink recipes, and like who knows what else. Maybe we'll come up with some fun New Testament things to throw up in there. So we would love your support for us to keep doing this.
I'm scared.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
One thing I actually want to talk about a little before we get to the quiz was just our casting for people, because there are some characters that are going to get mentioned again in the New Testament. Like quite a few, actually. So I thought it'd be worth maybe doing a quick overview of some of those people before we finish off with this quiz.
Okay.
So I have our casting list up, and we've cast a lot of people.
Yeah.
We've cast a lot of people in this.
And
I think
it's a project Hollywood like none of which Hollywood has ever seen before.
Right. It's like, remember after Love Actually was so successful that there were a million other movies like that were like 20 different celebrities all playing these small parts in this movie.
Yeah.
This is like that, but way more. Way more so. So some people to keep an eye out for. So one is Moses is going to get mentioned, of course. Do we remember who that was?
Okay.
That was Benedict
the casting?
Cumberbatch.
Yeah. Good one.
So, and old Moses is Christopher Plummer.
Oh,
So
really
that's
good
like,
one.
Yeah, they're both good.
He's dead, but yeah.
Oh, you're right. We'll have to.
I don't think he was when we
Was
were
he
doing
alive
that.
when we cast
Probably.
him?
I think he was.
I think he was alive when we cast
Yeah.
him.
So I guess we'll have to deep fake him. We have Elijah is going to get mentioned. And that, of course, was played by Idris Elba.
Nice.
Great choice.
Ruth is going to be mentioned, who we cast as Laverne Cox.
Nice.
Fun.
And of course, Michael B. Jordan as Solomon. Solomon's going to
course.
get referenced, of course. We all love that. Who else do we have here? We do have Abraham, which I do not see on our list. Was this before we were casting people?
It may have been.
Whoa. Yeah, we probably don't even have like Adam and Eve.
Yeah, we didn't cast them either, I don't
Do we
think.
have Adam and Eve on there? Yeah.
Boy,
No.
oh boy.
Jeez.
Oh gosh.
Because Noah?
Did we cast Noah?
No, that would have been pre-casting.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because we
Okay.
cast Joseph as Will Smith,
Uh-huh.
but I think he might have been the first. So yeah, maybe
Goodness.
did we cast Jacob? No, we didn't cast Jacob.
Oh, we didn't?
So yeah, Jacob and Abraham didn't get cast. So
Wow. Are they going to be
Boy,
in
oh
this
boy.
thing?
they both get referenced as well. Yes.
Okay.
So
I guess that makes sense that they would.
they're all the big characters, right? Like the ones we've heard
Yeah.
about a lot. I also learned that Melchizedek gets mentioned, which
Yeah.
we didn't cast because we didn't.
Because who the heck
Yeah,
is
we didn't think anything of that.
Amazing.
Well, we've been sitting on some good casting, like Patrick Stewart
Mm.
is
That's
here.
good. Yeah.
He's great.
Hugh Jackman's in here. Denzel
Yes.
is in here. Like we could be casting some patriarchs.
Yeah.
Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ken Watanabe has been in here
Wow.
for a long time.
We also have Tommy Wiseau.
Good Chiwetel
Oh my
Oh,
God.
no.
on our list we have not used yet.
Oh no.
Who would get that honor? Like
What
what
character
character?
Can you
indeed.
imagine a Tommy Wiseau Jesus?
Oh, no, we can't.
I mean, he's based in the
can't.
room. He basically wrote himself to be a Christ
I mean,
character,
that's
right?
kind of
He
amazing.
did, yeah.
It's kind of amazing.
This is kind of what he would love.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Exactly.
You're tearing me apart, Judas.
We got Morgan. Morgan Freeman's any kind of narration, so
Yeah.
I guess he's already cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like we could do some good work with these patriarchs.
Yeah, that's good. Oh man, I'm just looking at our list of people we want to cast. There's like Michelle Yeoh. We've got to cast
Oh,
her
wow.
as something awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We should, the gentleman who also won an Oscar in that movie.
Ke Kwan.
Right,
was-
short round.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
We should put him in there.
I'm blanking on his name right now, which is terrible.
Ke Kwan.
Yeah. Thank you, Dedeker.
Yes. Yeah. I'll add him to the list.
Do it.
Okay. Well, let's reflect on that.
Yeah. But anyway, just some things to realize that we're going to have new castings, which, as we've talked about for each of the Gospels, we're going to get to change.
Okay.
So, we can recast everyone. We could just recast the Jeezys and keep everyone
Mhm.
else the same. We've got some freedom.
My God, who are we going to cast as Judas?
I know, right? There's a lot of great options
Mhm.
here. So I'm
Mhm.
looking forward to all of that casting. But anyway, just wanted to give us a little recap and remind us that some of these characters will still get mentioned. And so, of course, in the DBS Plus televised version of this, we'll have
Yeah.
cutaway flashbacks to them doing things. It'll be
Wonderful.
great. Yeah. Okay. Are you ready
No.
for this quiz?
Yes.
How low of a score are we going to get? Okay, we'll see.
So Rockanon put together this 25 question
Wow.
plus a bonus question. So I guess 26, but 25 real questions and then a bonus. And then have a separate document that has the answers. And so I have the answers pulled up, but I've made that window really short and narrow so I won't see stuff till I scroll.
Okay.
So I will also be able to do this along with you, but also check our answers as we go.
Okay.
And I see that at the very top of the answer sheet, it says, in Singapore's education system, a passing grade is typically set at a minimum of 50%. So
Got
nice
it.
little
Okay, that's how
reminder
we
for
think that we're going to be
ourselves.
doing here today, isn't it?
Exactly. Well, we'll see.
Cool.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Here we go. Number 1. Which prophet had a unique transportation method involving a fiery chariot? Was it A, Elijah, B, Isaiah, C, Ezekiel, or D, Jeremiah?
It was Ezekiel's,
Was it?
right?
I thought it
I
was
thought
Elijah.
it was Elijah.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
no, you're right. You're so right. I messed up my E names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm checking it. And that is correct.
Thank
Well
goodness.
done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good job, Jace.
Number 2. Which biblical figure was known for his fancy coat? I mean,
It's your boy.
Joey.
Joey. So this is A, Moses, B, Abraham, C, Joseph, or D, Jacob.
Joseph.
Joseph's.
Joseph's, yes. Now, I'm sorry, hang on a sec. Oh, I see. Wow. So Rockanon has also provided extra context along with the answers to these questions
Wow.
here.
Cool.
So he mentions that in 2 Kings chapter 2, Elijah had reached the end of his earthly ministry and it was time for him to be taken up to heaven. Elijah's disciple and successor, Elisha,
Mm-hmm.
accompanied him on this journey. As they were walking together, a chariot of fire with horses of fire appeared, separating the two of them, and Elijah was taken up into heaven in a whirlwind, carried away by the chariot and horses of fire, while Elisha
cool.
witnessed this remarkable event. Fun fact, Elijah was taken into heaven while still alive
Yeah.
and not experiencing
Allegedly.
physical death, according to the story.
Allegedly.
Yeah. He was the only guy.
Okay.
Nuts.
Biblical figure known for his fancy coat. Yes, Joseph. Joseph in the amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Yes, we've got
Cool.
it. Love it. Number 3. Who was known for having a really bad hair day?
Officially or in our headcanon?
Wait, yeah.
So that's the fun part. I think these are like part riddle, part quiz, right?
Okay.
So,
Okay. Give us, yeah.
Acquittal.
okay, so A, David, B, Joseph, C, Esau, or D, Samson.
Oh, Samson.
Yeah, it's a fun
Oh,
little.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember what the story was, Emily?
Yeah. I mean, it's that freaking Regina Spektor song. So,
Okay,
yeah, I definitely
good,
know
very
it. Yeah.
Yep.
Cut off his hair and then he's no longer powerful.
Yep, and that was
Which is strange.
That was Delilah.
Who
Who cut the hair. Yeah.
how dare. But maybe he got a glow up and he was powerful in other ways.
Well, he then became. He learned that the power was inside him all along, and then he did get his power back. It's one of those kind of stories.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. Number 4. So far, we're doing great. 3 for 3. Love this. Number 4. How many times did the Israelites march around the walls of Jericho? Is this A,
What do we
4,
got?
B, 6, C, 7, D, 13, or E, until they got tired?
Some people are saying 7, which would make sense because
I think it's 7.
Because 7 is a
Yeah.
big number
It is.
in
Yeah,
Okay.
the
I
Bible.
think it's
Let's
gotta
go
be
with
that.
7. Now, this is weird. The answer sheet has 2 different answers.
What?
And then it says, this is a bit of a trick question. The answer is technically 13. So either C or D could be acceptable. It's not a Bible quiz without a little ambiguity. So here's the context.
Well, what's the 7 then?
In Joshua 6, God commanded Joshua to go around the walls of Jericho for 6 days, once every day, and 7 times on the 7th day.
Oh.
So technically, when you add it all up, it's that. God commanded the city to be attacked by 7 priests blowing trumpets, with the Ark of the Covenant in front of them and all the people behind the Ark of the Covenant. They encircled the wall of Jericho once a day for the first 6 days, and then they encircled it 7 times on the 7th day.
Got it. Okay. Fascinating.
That's a fun little sneaky.
It's fun. It's
Sneaky
fun.
Very
trick.
sneaky.
Some good
Very
quiddle,
sneaky.
quizzle design.
Yeah, okay. Okay, number 5. How many foreskins?
Oh, God.
I never, anyone who ever asks me that, I don't want to hear the end of the sentence.
How many foreskins did David actually bring to King Saul as a condition for marrying his daughter Michal?
Yeah, I remember it was too many.
It was 200, right?
It was like in the hundreds.
I thought it was
At
That's the
200.
question. So the answers are A, 100, B, 200, C, 300, or D, more than 300.
I think it was 200.
I think it was more than 300.
Really?
I
Jeez.
do not remember. I just remember a pile of them.
Ew.
I remember in the Legos version of it, there's
Right.
a pile of the little
Of the
yellow
little single
circle.
discs.
Like,
What?
A pile of bits.
A lot of people are saying 2.
Okay, yeah, we should go with 200.
Yeah, let's go with
That's what a lot of
200.
people are going with.
okay. 200 is correct. Well done,
Wow.
Emily.
Thank you.
A plus.
I feel
student.
like, I don't know what it was, but I remember seeing like a visual of that. Maybe you all sent it to me from like the kids' Bible or something.
Right,
And they were
that's
like,
been a
and it
meme that's
was
going
200,
around.
la la la. Yeah. So I remember
Yeah.
the 200.
Okay.
Okay.
So the context for this one is that Saul said, "Thus shall you tell David, the king desires no dowry except 100 foreskins of the Philistines to be avenged of the king's enemies." Now Saul thought to make David fall by the hand of the Philistines. And then David, to prove how badass he was, gave 200 instead of the 100 that were requested.
Now, couldn't he fake that?
Gross.
Couldn't he take 100 foreskins and cut them in half? Because who's going to check?
Who's going to dig through the pile?
That would require him to, like, with, I don't know, they didn't have like gloves back then, but he would have to pick it up with his little fingers and take a.
How do you
Take a
think he's
knife.
collecting them in the first place? What do you think he has to do?
Do you want to like touch it more, Dedeker?
What if you had tongs? I bet you that's a metal tongs.
Yeah, this
Look
is
at
horrible.
Emily's
This is
face.
everything.
Can we not think about it?
Everything here is horrible. I'm just assuming they all must have known foreskins so well. They probably did this a lot,
Like
right?
an eyeball a pile of foreskins.
Yeah. So if you tried to cut them in half,
Like, that looks like 200. Impressive. Wow.
They'd know if you
Yeah.
cut it in half. Like, what, you think I wasn't going to count? You think I wouldn't notice that shit?
right? Saul just
Like a
would have
drug
looked at it
dealer.
and been like, "No, like that's not 200. Bullshit. That's 100 cut in half. No one's that small, or something like that, right?" Like,
Can we move on?
yeah, this is horrible. Let's move on. We're moving on. Yes. Number 6. What did Jonathan do to show his loyalty and friendship to David?
They had sex.
Friendship was not put in quotes in this quiz, but I'm going to add quotes
It
around
should be
that.
in quotes.
Yeah. What did Jonathan do to show his loyalty and friendship to David? A, he gave David his royal robe and armor. B, he wrote a heartfelt poem about their friendship. C, he built a monument in David's honor. Or D, he offered to become David's servant. Wink.
I'm sorry. Okay, in my brain, all of those have quotes around them. His quote, royal robe.
They're all euphemisms for something.
His quote, poem about friendship. His quote, monument.
Did he give him his quotes? Is that it?
I think my guess is either clothes or the saying he'll be his quote unquote servant.
Now, do you suppose it's actually that someone caught him taking off his clothes with David?
was like,
and he's like, I was
giving
giving
them to-
him the family armor and cloak. That's a ritual.
That's good. I like that.
Got it. I say, does anyone know? Anyone?
Brady in the chat says A. I mean, I do
Yeah.
remember there being something, because remember that Jonathan was Saul's
Son.
something?
Son.
Son?
Yes.
Son.
And so
Like firstborn, I think.
I do remember something about him giving him like something of Saul's. So the
Oh.
armor thing, like the robe and armor does make sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's that.
Yeah?
Sure.
Okay. And that's correct.
Yeah.
He gave David his royal robe
Yay.
and armor. Now, this is interesting. We've got some context.
David is very just pansexual.
Yeah.
Like, he loves deities, men and women,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Foreskins. Yeah, all of it.
Oh, okay.
So in 1 Samuel, Jonathan took off the robe he was wearing and gave it to David, along with his tunic and even his sword and bow and his belt. So he was
If
taking
someone was
off
caught,
his clothes.
he was caught and he
Everything.
really had to commit to the bit. He's like, see, I'm even giving
Yeah.
him my sword and my
here
my
you
bow
go,
and
my
my
lord.
axe and all
And
that.
my axe.
Yeah, my
Yes.
acts of friendship. According to Bible.org, it's possible that Jonathan's gifts to David were a symbolic gesture. He may have suspected that David was God's chosen successor to the throne of Israel. By giving David his robe, Jonathan may have been indicating that he was willing to give his authority to David and therefore relinquishing his claim to the throne.
Or he
Or
was
that
just
he was
In
giving
love with him?
something else to him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Number 7. What major event unfolded between David and Saul in the cave?
The pooping event.
Okay.
Doop.
Here's the choices.
Dropping of the trowel.
Yeah. A. David presented Saul with a bag containing Philistine foreskins as a gift.
Oh, well, no.
B. David observed Saul relieving himself.
There it is. Popping a squat, pinching a loaf.
C. David spared Saul's life. D. David professed his love for Jonathan. Or E. B and
Yeah.
C, which is relieving himself and sparing his
And
life.
Sparing his life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it says B and C and maybe some other kinky stuff.
I think
Definitely E, because David didn't kill
Best
him.
quiz we've ever taken.
Yeah, definitely the best quiz. Well done. Okay, let's see here. Right, so Saul just happened to relieve himself in the cave where David was hiding. All David's men whisper that God has delivered Saul on a platter.
Oh.
But as David crouches towards Saul with a knife and even cuts off a piece of his robe, he feels guilty. Even though David has been anointed and will be king, he can't attack God's chosen king.
Dang.
I see. So maybe the cutting the robe is the kinky stuff. That's the...
Got it. Like it may have been a foreskin.
Gross. No.
But is it really about I can't attack God's chosen king and more about the guilt of like I can't attack a man when he's vulnerable, when he's pooping?
It's
Like,
gotta be that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's definitely it for sure.
I don't want to be known as the guy that killed the king while he was pooping. That's
Right.
just-
Yeah, I
And
mean,
yet-
you don't.
Yeah. Okay.
And yet you are.
I want to be
Okay.
known as the guy who didn't kill the king when he was pooping.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 8. In 2 Kings, what was the number of children who were attacked and mauled by the she-bears?
Right. That was Elisha.
I think
the
it's-
kids that teased him for being bald.
3.
Interesting. Your choices are A, 12, B, 21,
Oh.
C, 42,
What?
D, 69, nice,
Nice.
E,
Nice.
none, Yahweh would never harm a child.
That's the hilarious part, though.
42. I think it was a surprisingly large number of
Is
children.
it really?
That got mauled.
I don't remember that.
42?
Yes.
Is it this universe's answer?
42.
What is
People
it?
in the chat are saying 42.
Okay.
Okay, all I know is it's not E. Okay, 42 is correct. Wow, that's more
Yeah.
kids than I remembered.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of children.
Yeah, so as Elisha was walking along the road, some boys came out of the town and jeered at him. "Get out of here, Baldy," they said. This sounds like it's from the Message.
42 kids said that? Get out of
It
here,
was like a
Baldy.
production of Newsies.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then
They
Elisha
jeered.
turned to them and said, "I'm the king of New York." And a bear came and mauled them. Yes. Yeah, mauled 42 of the boys. Wow.
That's pretty intense, man.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, 42 of the boys. So that maybe suggests there were more than 42.
Oh, yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
those were the ones that were too slow and too tasty.
You're right.
How many she-bears were there? I mean, if this was Cocaine Bear, then, which I still think you all
There
should
were
say.
2 she-bears.
Cocaine,
Only 2.
cocaine, only 2? Well, yeah, 2
So
cocaine
21
bears could take
children
out.
each.
Could take it out, for
Mhm.
sure. They weren't
Easy.
cocaine.
Real bears
Easy.
doesn't.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No.
All right. Number 9. Which type of vegetable portrayed the character Esther in VeggieTales?
Well, it was a hot
It
one.
was the hot vegetable.
Oh God, it was like a really hot,
really hot
was it a hot
vegetable.
zucchini. Was it a hot
Choices
zucchini
are-
or carrot?
A, a green onion. B, an asparagus. C, a cucumber. Or D, rhubarb. Now, I'm pretty sure it was not asparagus and not cucumber because those are spoken for.
Really?
Is she a green
Oh.
onion?
She,
She was just kind of
yeah,
green
she was just
and
vaguely
hot.
green.
I want to ask Josh.
What do you even know?
He loved. I mean, by loved, I mean I think that he had to watch VeggieTales.
But I mean, the whole time we
It's kind of the
watched it, I
same.
don't remember identifying what vegetable
Was rhubarb
she
even
was.
invented yet? Paul said in the chat.
I think I'm going to go with a green onion.
I mean, I'm thinking about sexy vegetables, right? And like green onions got that booty. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess.
It's a very small booty, like all things considered.
Uh-huh.
well, do we go for it?
Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
It was a green onion. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Great. Cool.
Boy.
Yeah.
Wow, boy.
Great.
Queen Esther is a small young town Jewish leek, part of the onion family.
Oh, I see. A leek.
She's a leek. Okay.
Mm.
That's a little
okay.
different from a green onion.
Well, that is a bigger booty.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
a bigger
okay.
booty. That is maybe a sexier vegetable than a green onion.
Eat your greens.
Now, that's
Okay.
funny. So, some trivia here. Part of the influence for making this episode was feedback to VeggieTales or from VeggieTales fans wanting an episode starring
A hot vegetable.
a positive female role model.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
So-
The thing we're always freaking desperate for.
Yeah.
So, in the actual story, the punishment for committing any crime against King Xerxes would have been fatally hanging on the gallows, which was what happened to Haman. But since it's a kids-friendly show, it replaced that with perpetual tickling.
That's fun.
That's fun.
That's fun and cute.
It's fun. Okay, all right, here we go. Number 10.
Yeah.
Which DBS parishioner was cast as the lesser lion? I remember this now.
Daniel.
Oh, yeah.
it was
How can
Daniel.
we forget?
The choices are A, Jacob, B, David, C, Ezekiel, and D, Daniel. It's fun that Daniel's name fits with that list, but
Correct. Yeah, Daniel asked to be
as the
cast.
lesser lion, yeah.
And he was like, I can just be a lion, like a lesser lion, no problem. Oh my God. Okay, I'll show you guys. Josh just showed me. He just sent me this.
Oh, the picture of Esther.
Yeah.
See,
there she is.
She's very hot.
I would not have identified her as a leek, though, just from that red
I know.
ring.
She looks like a spoon that's green with hair.
Oh, boy. Okay. Bonus points if you answered that he dressed as Daniel in the Lion's Den for Halloween and added the role to his IMDb profile. That's pretty great.
Amazing. Amazing.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Number 11. Who died while transporting the Ark of the Covenant? We just talked about this. The dude.
That dude.
Utsa. Exploding Utsa.
Choices are A, Utziel, B, Shimei,
Oh.
C, Utsa, and D, Eleazar.
Yeah, it was Utsa.
Yes. Because remember, they named
Utsa.
that town to Perez Utsa or something. It means
Utsa,
Utsa
yeah.
exploded, which is horrible. All right, number 12. How many
Yikes.
years did it take Solomon to complete construction of the first temple? Was it A, 4, B, 7, C, 13, D, 21, or E, it was never completed because they ran out of cedar for the porches?
I'd believe it.
I felt like it was a while,
Yeah.
like 13 or
Yeah,
something,
like-
but I don't know.
Or was
I
it
don't know.
was it 14?
Could it have been 21?
21? Jeez.
Can you give us the rundown of those numbers again?
4, 7, 13, 21.
Oh, yeah, I think it's got to be up there.
I remember it being a long time. 21 maybe feels too long, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say 13. Let's go with 13.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, no. It was 7.
Dang.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Just when in doubt, 7.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Right.
Fair. To our credit, chapter 7 in 1 Kings mentions that Solomon also built a house for himself that took 13 years to complete.
I
The temple was only
see.
7.
Tricky.
Well, tricksy.
Tricky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Number 13. Jeremiah was instructed by Yahweh to purchase a linen belt. What was he told not to do with it? Okay. So this is the whole stuff he did with the linen belt, which I think we interpreted as underwear.
Yes.
Okay. Which of these did he not do with it?
Okay.
A, hide it under a rock. B, put it in water. C, wear it. D, secure his tent with it, I guess.
What did he not do with it?
What did he
I
not
think
do
was
with it?
not put it in water, right? Like, don't wash it.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I also don't remember him securing his
I
tent
don't remember
with
him
it.
securing his tent either.
Unless that's a euphemism.
Oh, his tent. Right. Did he wear
You
it
know,
for
his
a
tent.
while? Okay. Boy, oh boy. That's got to be water, though, right? Because the whole point was to not wash it.
To not wash it, yeah.
Yeah, probably water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. That's correct. Well done. Let's see. Take the belt which you have bought, which is on your loins, and arise. Go to the Euphrates and hide it there in the cleft of the rock.
Right.
Okay. Hit it and
Quit it.
hit it. Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's got to be what it means by secure his tent. That's got to be. That's all part of the quiz. Part of the lateral
sure.
thinking quiz that is this quiz.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Number 14.
Yeah.
What symbolic meaning did the act of salting babies serve?
Right. Definitely making them more
Yeah.
delicious.
Was it A, they
Yeah.
taste better that way?
Breaking.
B, the baby would be raised to have integrity and honesty. C, to prevent a bad smell, to prevent sweating and rashes, to ensure a nice, smooth, puffy body, and to ward off arrogance. That was all one.
Wait, that was all one?
D, to protect the baby from the evil eye. Or E, all of the above.
Was there a coherent one in there?
Symbolic meaning.
Wait, this says what was he told not to do is what Rakanon says.
That was the previous one.
That was for the previous question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yes.
I mean, it is a truth that a baby would taste better if it was salted.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember looking this up for the bonus, and I do feel like there was something in there that was about ensuring that there wasn't any rashes or skin issues, that the baby's skin was going to be good.
But the question is, what
him.
symbolic meaning did the act of salting babies serve? And that's what's throwing me off, because otherwise I would have said that one, like the smell and the sweating, because we did learn about that in a bonus. But that's not symbolic.
It's symbolic because that's some bullshit.
That's a good one. It's symbolic because it's some bullshit.
Yeah.
I want to say it's the integrity and honesty then, if we're going with symbolic.
Is that a thing?
Okay.
What?
What the what? The answer is all of the above.
What? No, it's not.
So Ezekiel 16 references salt in newborn babies who were rubbed with salt at birth. This symbolizes that the baby would be raised to have integrity and honesty. It's possible that this practice cleaned the infant. Salt is a disinfectant that prevents infection. It can't cure an infection, but it can help stop the spread of bacteria. Immediately after birth, a baby is salted to prevent a bad smell, to prevent sweating and rashes, to assure a nice, smooth, puffy body, and to ward off arrogance.
The puffy body.
Salt was also believed to protect newborns from the evil eye. I still think we get half points for B, because...
I mean, it's part of it.
It wouldn't be a DBS quiz without us arguing.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, sure. I guess you can argue that it's all of the above.
But symbolic, and also the taste better that way. I don't think that was part of the all of the above.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give us half points for that one. Okay. Number 15. In the DBS biblical canon, Beyonce is The Rock's ex-wife. In ancient mythology, what was Asherah primarily associated with?
Adam.
A, war.
Oh.
B, fertility. C, wisdom. D, death. Or E, lemonade.
War?
I was pretty sure it was fertility. It was like the sex and
sure.
religion shrine.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Deaths.
Okay.
Yeah, correct. Asherah in ancient Semitic religion is a fertility goddess who appears in a number of ancient sources. Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, number 16. How old was Abraham when he was circumcised?
Ooh, quite old.
Oh, yeah, he was older.
How old is the question? So A, 8, B, 42, C, 99, or D, 112?
42.
I would believe the oldest.
What?
No, I would believe the oldest, like 112.
You'd believe?
Or maybe 99.
Oh, because I guess they lived a lot longer back
Yeah.
then or something.
He was old.
Father
Old,
Abraham
old.
had many sons. Many
And
sons
he
had Father
also-
Abraham.
Got circumcised at this age.
I have no idea. I don't.
Just pick one.
112 feels
Pick a high
too
one.
old, but 99
You wanna
seems
go with
too
99?
convenient. I guess I'll go with 112. We'll see.
Great.
Oof, it was 99.
Dang it. Oh.
Yeah.
man.
Jeez. Go with your gut.
Yeah,
That's-
99.
How many questions we got left?
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay,
All
right,
let's
let's
we can do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do
We
it.
got
Let's
this.
keep rolling along.
Okay. Hold on. I got to mark that one in red because we failed.
We're going to get an 80 at least.
Yeah, way better than a Singapore C. In the book of Deuteronomy, this is question 17. In the book of Deuteronomy, Yahweh issues a warning about the curses that will come upon those who disregard his voice. What specific harm does he mention regarding vineyards?
Garbage.
Is it A, a lightning strike, B, extreme weather, C, a worm infestation, or D, an earthquake?
I don't remember this
I
at
feel like
all.
the worm infestation feels the most Yahweh to me.
Oh, I felt like bad weather, but maybe not.
I could also see the lightning strike, where he's just like, I'm going to burn it up. I want to say worm infestation. Does anyone want to pick a different answer?
Okay. Yeah, go nuts.
Go with worms.
Okay.
Go with squirmy wormies.
Worms is correct. Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
good job,
Well
Jace.
done. Well done. Okay.
Right. The quote is, you shall plant vineyards and dress them, but you shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worm shall eat them. That's what happens if you're a bad boy. Okay, number 18. Which prophet disobeyed Yahweh?
All of them.
Yeah, right? Is it A, David, B, Jonah,
Was David a prophet?
C, Elijah, or D, Isaiah?
It was Jonah, because Jonah was like, that's why he got eaten by the big fish.
Yep.
Oh,
He was like, no, I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it. I'm going to run away.
Yep. That's my guess too. My name is Jonah. I'm eaten by the whale. Bink, dink, dink. Okay. B, Jonah, correct. Yep. So he didn't go to Nineveh because he was like, no, I don't want to though. And so he
Yeah,
got
I
eaten by
remember.
a whale and then spit out
And then he
somewhere,
went.
which may or may not have been Nineveh, we learned when we read it. All right.
You're going whether you like it or not.
Number 19. How old was Moses when he died? Was it A,
Real old.
too old, according to Emily? B,
For sure. For sure.
It's
I
definitely that
stand by
one.
that.
yeah. B, 99, C,
No.
120, or D, 175.
Way older than that. Too
I think
old.
it was too old.
Because
Yeah.
Emily was gunning
like-
for Moses' death for ages.
I felt like it was like at least, I don't know, maybe it was not as old as I thought, but I felt like it was a lot.
No,
Okay.
Emily
I
was
like,
so
when is
ready
this
for him to
dude gonna
die.
Okay, so the correct answer, according to Rakanon, is A or C. Moses died at 120 years old, which was also too
That's
old,
it?
according to Emily. So both are correct.
Definitely. I mean, it is very
Abraham was the one who died at 175.
old. Okay. Good for him.
Yeah, but Moses was
Mhm.
120. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. Which I'm
Wow.
pretty sure means his
Means he
bones.
could still get it up.
Yeah.
His
Okay.
natural force, indeed. Okay.
Number 20. Who was Jacob's mother? Was it A, Sarah, B, Rebecca, C, Abigail, or D, Rahab?
There's Rebecca.
Dedeker knows her namesake.
I know my namesake. Yeah.
Yes, Rebecca. Correct.
Yeah.
Well done.
Buka.
Isaac was 60 years old when he was born.
What?
Okay.
Oh, wait. Oh, when Jacob was born.
Like he didn't come out 60 years old.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I thought
I
you was
see- I
alluding.
see what you're-
like,
okay,
implying.
gosh,
I was
yeah.
like, what? Okay.
Okay. Which of the following bird species is considered suitable for consumption?
Not a raven.
Yeah, none kind of raven.
Not a single raven.
So this is which one is clean of these?
Not a flamingo.
A, eagles, B, falcons, C, ostrich, or D, any kind of dove.
Oh my god, that's hard.
For consumption, I think any
Doves
kind
are
of
cool.
dove.
Yeah, we can
Wait,
eat.
Doves are
doves are
cool.
good.
We can eat the shit
Doves
out
are
of
cool.
doves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yahweh
I mean,
loves
don't look
having
at
doves
that's why you don't want to look them in the eye
sacrificed.
because they're going to put up a fight. They don't want to be eaten.
Yeah. Any kind of dove is correct.
Yeah, no birds of prey are clean.
Songbirds, which are consumed as delicacies in many societies, may be kosher in theory, but are not eaten during kosher time, like not eaten in kosher homes because there's not a tradition of them being eaten as such. Pigeons and doves are known to be kosher based on their permissible status as sacrificial offerings in the Temple of Jerusalem.
Okay.
So, like in kosher households, there's not a tradition of eating doves, but because they were offered as sacrifices means that they're clean. is
They can eat 'em.
logic
You could
here.
eat them
You could eat
if
them.
you wanted
Yeah.
to.
Have you ever eaten a pigeon?
No.
I don't think I
think
would
so.
want to eat a pigeon.
No.
I definitely don't, but
No,
I'm
but-
asking about you.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 22. For a duration of 7 years, who lived in a manner resembling that of an animal?
That one dude.
Ooh,
That one
that
king
one
dude,
dude. Was
right?
it Nebby's? I think it was Nebby.
Nebs?
The choices
Nebs.
are A, Jehoahaz, B, Zedekiah, C, Nebuchadnezzar, or D, Rehoboam.
Yeah, I think it was Nebs.
Nebs? Okay.
Yeah.
Nebs is correct.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, he was the one who turned into an animorph, I think,
Right.
and then ran around in the
yeah.
backyard for 7 years.
Didn't you love Animorphs? Like, they're ridiculous.
I never
It's
read them.
completely-
I never read them
What?
either.
What?
And they were not allowed in my school library
Oh,
because I went to a Christian school.
Right, they were blasphemous.
what?
Yeah.
Wait, it's blasphemous to turn into an animal that might be a dove and you might get eaten?
Here, no. This is how panicked Christian parenting works.
Okay, tell me. I can't wait.
Something new and popular
Mm.
starts going
Right.
wild among
Kids
the
are
kids,
into it.
right? Could be
Uh-huh,
Animorphs, could be Pokemon cards,
Mm.
could be Harry Potter, whatever. So the parents are suspicious of this. These children are having too much joy.
How-
And it's
how
not from an
dare-
overtly Christian source.
Right.
And even worse, maybe it's from an Asian country, which makes us even more scared. And so
Jeez.
we find a reason to demonize it, right? So Harry Potter was like, oh, it's all about witchcraft and black magic. Pokemon, I don't know what
It's from
Pokemon was about.
Japan.
Honestly, it's from Japan. We don't like
Still
it.
don't know what Pokemon's about.
But I remember that being, yeah.
Ask Paul in
And-
the chat.
Animorphs, I'm pretty sure, was like, it reminds us of evolution.
Yeah.
So we don't like it.
Oh, weird. I never would have made that connection.
And it's always
yeah.
pretty much the way the panic goes. It's always based on no parents are ever actually consuming any of this content.
Right.
No one's actually like, I'm going to sit down and read Harry Potter to see what's in this. No one's ever like, I'm going to sit down and read Animorphs to actually see what's in this. It's all hearsay.
Yeah.
So yeah, never read any Animorphs for that reason.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, we were talking about how most people's perception of the Bible is like watching YouTube reviews of a movie based on a book. That's what like Christian parents' views on all of pop culture is I read a
Yes.
review in a magazine by someone who heard someone
By Dr.
else.
James Dobson.
Yeah, who heard someone
What?
else talk about this content that my kid consumes. Yeah, no direct sources for sure.
Oh yeah,
my
Brady in the
God.
chat is pointing out like Pokemon also used the language of evolution.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Mm.
And
course it
evolution
did.
equals bad in
Right.
Christian cultures, and that's all we need. Plus, comes from Japan, even worse.
Right. Oshdog Bucket mentions that also Animorphs had aliens in it, and aliens and God are not
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
So
You're right.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
so
I
right.
mean, they are.
I mean,
though.
they are.
But then
though, yeah.
Madeline Langle's like A Wrinkle in Time was fine, and C.S. Lewis was fine because we knew they were Christian authors.
Because they loved God.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter that like in A Wrinkle in Time, we're also talking about trippy stuff and some kind of alien mystical beings and things like that. But it's like we know that they're Christian, so it's okay.
Yeah, did you see that cover? It was nuts.
Uh-huh.
Okay, here we go. Number 23. We're almost there. What is the symbolism of Ezekiel's vision of dry bones?
Mario.
Is it A, the end of suffering and the attainment of enlightenment?
Boy.
B, the restoration of Israel? C, eternal life and spiritual rebirth? Or D, the resilient nature and determination of Mario?
That one.
It was the resurrection of what,
The restoration of Israel?
The restoration? Yeah.
After it
I
was
think it's
going to
that
be,
one.
because everyone was going to get killed, but then they were all going to become dry bones and
Live again.
live again.
Yeah. And remember when we watched
Okay.
that animated version that was all like paper bag
Oh,
puppets?
Yeah, that was actually kind of cool. To be
Mhm.
honest, that was pretty
Hmm.
cool, actually. Okay, yes, correct. The restoration of Israel. Well done, everybody. 2 more to go.
Whew.
When Yahweh commanded Elijah to take refuge by the brook of Cherith, who provided him with nourishment? Was it A, angels, B, local villagers, C, Elisha, his protege, I guess,
Hmm.
or D, any kind of raven?
Elisha?
angels? Did angels come by and bring him a burger or something?
Angels we have heard on high.
I don't remember this at all.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
But probably angels.
I mean, angels we have heard on high.
Elijah was pretty trippy, right? So
Yes.
angels would
Yeah.
make sense.
Yes.
Sure, let's go with it.
Okay.
Oh man, it was any kind of raven. What?
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 Wait,
What?
how?
Okay.
What and how?
Here's context. This is from 1 Kings chapter 17. Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the foreigners of Gilead, said to Ahab, "As Yahweh, the God of Israel, lives, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word." The word of Yahweh came to him, saying, "Get you hence, and turn you eastward, and hide yourself by the brook Cherith, that is before the Jordan. If you hit the Jordan, you've gone too far. It shall be that you shall drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed you there."
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't
What?
remember this at
The ravens
all.
are gonna like give you like
yeah, I don't remember at all.
bird seed or something to eat.
Yeah, the
They're
ravens.
going to bring you some like shiny objects.
It says the ravens
And-
brought him bread and flesh in the morning,
Ew.
and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook.
But it was okay, even though they were unclean.
And- yeah, that's confusing.
that's
It was okay
weird.
for him to still eat the food that they gave him? Weird.
Yeah.
I feel like God
Wow.
kind of, glossed over that stuff later on in the book.
I think we were just so
Clean
tripped
and
out by that
unclean.
whole book that we just weren't even paying
Yeah.
attention anymore.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Last official question before the bonus question.
Whew.
Number 25. In the book of Deuteronomy, what guidelines or directives are given concerning the handling or use of horses?
Oh, don't have too many.
Is it A, they should not be used in warfare?
Obviously not.
B, they should not be used for agriculture? C, the king should not have too many? Or D, they should not be turned into sashimi?
Oh, well, awkward.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Because Jason and I have eaten some horse
Why?
sashimi in Japan.
Just to try it?
Because
We were with
delicious.
some friends and they,
No, I thought we had it on
I
our own.
remember that was with,
with Ken and his
With
wife.
Ken
No,
and his
that
wife,
was the
yeah.
chicken sashimi.
oh, you're right.
We've had a lot of messed up
Boy,
sashimi.
we've had a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Wait, chicken?
Like raw
Wait,
chicken.
you had
meat.
raw
Yes.
chicken?
Yeah.
Yes. You want to tell the
Yep.
story, Jace?
They better have washed that chicken. They better have washed that chicken.
That was the one where they came to our table and presented it and gave this big explanation in Japanese that I didn't catch. And I think Dedeker only kind of
Dedeker, did you get it?
caught. So this was years and years ago. We were not as good at
It was
Japanese back then.
2018, so I probably
Yeah.
caught a fair amount.
But basically the message was, here's this chicken sashimi. Please eat this right away. Do not let this sit even for a second or you will die. That was kind of the...
So why were they talking to you about it? They should have just
Yeah.
shoved it in your mouth.
Just delivered straight to your open mouth, like a mama bird, ironically.
That's
Maybe that's how the ravens fed Elijah.
extremely horrifying.
Yeah,
That's
just
extremely horrifying.
jammed
Got
it right
it.
in his mouth. Okay.
Anyway, the answer is definitely that the king should not have too many horses.
And that's correct. Well done, everybody.
Good job.
Well done.
Okay.
Now we do have a bonus question here,
What's the bonus?
which is which type of cookie is regarded as Yahweh's all-time favorite?
Fig Newton? Oh no, the Harry Met Sally. What is it?
What?
What?
What is
What?
it? No, it was Joe Rogan. No.
What?
what is coming out of your mouth?
Famous Amos.
Oh.
Famous
Right,
Amos.
famous
Joe
Amos.
Rogan. What did your brain just go through to get there?
Male names. There it was. We got it. We got it.
My mental Rolodex of male names. Top of the list, Joe Rogan. Second on the
When
list.
Harry Met Sally.
Sorry, top of the list when Harry met Sally. Second on the list, Joe Rogan. Third on the list, Amos. Wow.
Oh my God, I'm gonna pee
It's been
myself.
a long Bible, you guys. It's been a long Bible.
Is it? Do
Okay,
you think the answer
we're
is
good.
famous Amos?
Oh God, I hope so.
Now, interestingly,
Is that not on there?
The correct answer, weirdly, is Joe Rogan. I don't know how that...
Oh, God.
No, sorry. Now this is fun because the answer that Rockanon put was Fig Newtons.
Yeah.
But as we all know,
Okay. That's not a freaking cookie.
Fig Newtons are not a cookie. It's fruit and cake.
Yes.
So-
fruit, nuts. Yeah.
So I think Emily's answer
Is the better
Famous
answer.
Amos is the better
And how I got to it is the only way that you get to it. Okay, did we do the thing?
Oh my goodness.
Your brain, Emily. Your brain.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Fine. We did it. Any kind
Okay,
of Raven. And
so-
don't look at that in the eye. Okay.
Okay, so out of this
Literally
25
crying.
question
At least I'm funny.
from this 25 question quiz.
Yeah, how did we do? Got like,
We got 21 and a half correct.
oh, good. Okay. Yeah. it's
Can
pretty good.
someone have a calculator handy to get our score?
Yeah.
21.5 divided by 25 is 86%.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'd say
yeah.
that's a
Not
solid
bad.
A+ in Singapore.
Hell yeah. That's a Singapore A+++.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Good job, everyone.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Well, next week, we're taking a week off for everyone to just like decompress after.
Yes. Taking a week of silence.
Yes, after this, we're taking a week of silence, like to get ready
Oh,
for Hot
mhm.
Christ Summer.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
boy, we're all going to wear our bikinis. You know, it's going to be good. I'm kidding. We're not.
For sure.
Maybe we will. But yeah.
For sure. Wow.
Whew. But it'll be a thing.
To close this out, I
Mhm.
want to leave you with a little excerpt
Oh.
from episode 57
Oh, God.
of this show. This is when we read the book of Numbers, chapter 7, where chapter 7 was an entire episode because it was 10 million verses long.
Oh my God.
And it kept repeating. Basically, each of the 12 tribes gave the same sacrifice over and over again. And this is what we devolved into.
Oh God.
So here we go. Let me try this.
Prince of the children of Manasseh gave his offering 1 silver platter, the weight of which was 130 shekels, 1 silver bowl of 70 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary, both of them full of fine flour mixed with oil for the meal offering, 1 golden label of 10 shekels full of incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 male lamb, a year old, for a burnt offering, 1 male goat for a sin offering, and for the sacrifice of peace offerings, 2 oxen, 5 rams, 5 male goats, 5 male lambs, a year old. This was the offering of Gamaliel, the son of Pedazur.
Was that during Christmas? Probably not even. Amazing.
You know what? I didn't even think to look up when that episode was. Let's see. That was
Love it.
episode 57.
Boy, why did we do this?
Yeah.
Why did we do this? I don't know. Because we can't ever not do something, Dedeker. We just like have to do it.
It came out in June of 2019.
Okay.
So it was Christmas in June.
Christmas in June. Amazing.
Gosh, that was pre-pandemic also. That was before shit really hit the fan.
Before
Yeah.
the before times. It's amazing.
Goodness.
Good for us.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow.
All right, folks. We gotta...
Okay.
Let's bring
I'm
this
going to
home.
read us out because this has been a long episode.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, everyone. Thank you all for joining us for Bible study today. If you want to join the audience in our live stream shows, follow us on Twitch at Drunk Bible Study or go to drunkbiblestudy.com/live. If you want even more Drunk Bible Study, including early releases, cocktail recipes, personal toasts on the show, and more, become one of our patrons at patreon.com/Drunk Bible Study. If you enjoy the show, take a moment to subscribe and write us a nice review on iTunes, letting other people know what you like about it. You can also join fellow listeners in the Drunk Bible Study Fans and Fellowship Facebook group or on our Discord server at discord.drunkbiblestudy.com. Find us on Twitter at Drunk Bible Cast, on Instagram at Drunk Bible Study, or send us an email to info@drunkbiblestudy.com. Drunk Bible Study is created and produced by Jace Lindgren, Dedeker Winston, and me, Emily Matlack. Our theme song is Book Club by Josh and Anand from their album Home of the. For more information, visit us at drunkbiblestudy.com.
Made a memory about your dad. He's in a book club. Whoa. He's got a history of skimming past all the pages of ageless confessional